Today's episode is brought to you by our new... Welcome to the biggest problem in the universe. I'm Matt with Music Masterson. Hey, what's up, buddy? In the podcast. Alright, what's the biggest problem in the universe? Drones. Drones. Finally, our fans aren't idiots for once, and they voted something that's an actual problem to the top of the list. I know, you threw me on that one when you started with drones, but I just totally agree with you. For one thing, I think maybe this is an American thing, because as I understand it, cops in England don't have tactical response teams and like a military division. Like our friggin' cops have militarized divisions, and I think it's just ridiculous. The last thing I want is for them to get done. Yeah, it is ridiculous. It's, and you know it will lead to more corruption and more abuse. Because already they're abusing people, even just for recording them. I mean, forget about it. You should always shoot drones. No. My buddy is, he's like, I don't want to say a gun yet, like, but he's really into guns. Okay. Did he email Ryson to President Obama? I don't know what he does all day. Okay. I don't watch him all day. But he's like, I'm kind of glad he does get in top faces, just because it's like, dude, if you don't, then no one's going to do it. And I'm sure as hell not going to do it. But of course, you don't have to. All these, like, now gun rights people are coming out against open carry dickheads who bring their fucking assault rifles or their regular rifles, any kind of rifles. If you bring it to an Arby's, you're a dick. And you're not making it better for gun rights people. You're making it worse because people get scared. No one walks in. No, these are actual gun people who are coming out and saying, look, I'm a Second Amendment guy. I have an NRA membership. I love guns. I'm always going to defend the right to have a gun. But you're not helping our cause by carrying around your guns like fucking assholes. You know what, though? Okay. I've done those open carry things. Yeah, of course. And we did change the law. Yeah. You want to hear, I don't know if I want to get into this now, because it's a whole thing. Save it for a problem. That's actually, I know the story, and it's a good one. Yeah. And we totally changed California. This is true. This is actually true. I'll get into it another time. Speaking of the problems, I wanted to mention, we've never really gone over the overall problems on the list, but it's a nice recap, because we haven't done that yet, since we just celebrated our 10th episode. The all-time top 5 problems. So can I just say real quick, if you go to the website, biggestproblemuniverse.com, and click on problems in the top, you can see this list that we're about to read from right now. Right. So, number 1 is people who can't eat spicy food. I don't know what to say about that. And then number 2 is armchair psychologists. Okay. Number 3 is conspiracy dipshits. Okay. Then other N-words, if you remember, that was people who have problems with the R word and the F word and the G word and M word, everything. Yeah. And then non-apologies. That one's such bullshit. I still get pissed off about that problem. What was that, episode 4? It drives me insane. Fair. So the biggest problem is people can't eat spicy food. Yeah. What's the? And by the way, speaking of people who can't eat spicy food, so from that episode, I made a thumbnail to promote that episode that was a chili pepper inside a condom. And one of the comments I wanted to read, and I forgot to when we aired this episode, but it's from Joseph Jerschke, and he titled this perfectly. He called it a chili pepper. It was perfect. Yeah, perfect. I loved it. Absolutely. What comment do you have? So I have one comment. My brother-in-law, he lives in India, and he calls me one morning way too early, and he goes, just listen to the podcast, and I've got moving into this year. I'm really upset. Yeah. He goes, listening to it on the way into work, and he works like at a huge corporation. Like thousands of people work there, they have campus. He's not like a staff work, like, he does, like, he has meetings
He like has PowerPoint presentations, and he has to do these things that you hear about on TV.
Sounds so boring. Right?
Sounds awful.
Yeah.
So our podcast is probably the one exciting thing that he's doing.
Yeah, you're welcome.
So he goes, yeah, I was listening to your little podcast on the way into this, and something you said made me spit my coffee all over my coffee. Like he's dressed in a nice suit or whatever.
That sounds like it looked cool. He's got like brown camo khakis.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, come on, what's the big deal? You just take your pants off and work with no pants. Like, hey.
Again, you're welcome. Yeah.
Yeah, he goes, yeah, that's not funny. I had to go around for the rest of the day looking at his coffee all over my pants because of your fucking podcast. So I was like, what joke did it? Like immediately, fuck your problem.
Yeah.
What was the joke that did it? And he said it was something that was getting in his girlfriend.
Probably about smoking or something. Yeah, you usually yell. It's fun. That's a good story.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, good story. Speaking of comments from our fans, this is actually a review on iTunes about the biggest problem in the universe. Except he called it the best podcast in the universe, which I agree it is. Cool. 5 stars. He gave it. This is by Stygian. Billboards, inspired, tired, whatever. $18 million. And says the collective marketing outlay by Gap, Apple, and Motorola for the Red campaign has been enormous, with some estimates as high as
in the universe is right here. Friday the 13th, Friday the 12th is just a year. Thanks, jackass. It's just like a fun thing we kind of have to do to bond with each other. You robotic prick.
You know, but he's kind of coming down on numerology, I think, with that one, is what he's saying. He's saying don't put so much faith in numbers.
He's showing off. He's just showing off his, that he's above everyone, thinking that Friday the 13th is fun and cool.
All right.
And it is fun and cool. We have a good time.
Yeah, you know, I was on board with this, but you're kind of selling me on it. He sounds like a big braggadocious show-off. That sounds like me.
Okay, here's one. Here's another one. If aliens did visit us, I'd be embarrassed to tell them that we still dig fossil fuels from the ground as a source of energy.
Okay, but he stole that from me, actually. not quite, but I wrote this article a long time ago saying that if aliens came to visit us, they would probably leave. And it's not just me, actually. I think the Calvin and Hobbes creator said that...
people have been saying it's forever.
Yeah, so lots of people have been saying that. And it's not just that possibly... Here's the thing, Neil deGrasse Tyson. You know, we're doing what we can. Sure, we could probably move off of fossil fuels quicker, but who knows? Like, we don't have anything to compare to. How's that for scientific? We have one sample of human being, and that's us. We don't have any other sample of human beings to compare us to for a gauge of where we should be at. So how do you know we're not already advanced for our age?
You know what? If you're so fucking worried about it, why don't you get off the Daily Show and your stupid documentaries and go invent it? Space Jesus. Show us the way, Neil deGrasse Tyson, so we don't have to dig gas out of the ground. Invent it. Go invent it for us, you effing jerk. You know? Like what? Because he's a scientist, he can say this? Like, that's something that a 13-year-old girl would say.
Shit.
Or boom. Whoever. Let's see here. Okay. The more... No, listen to that one. In my NCAA wrestling days, I dreamt of a hold I called the double title lock, inspired by Earth-Moon physics. That is an excuse to talk about how you were a wrestler in college.
Yeah.
That's all that is. Shameless. It's shameless.
You know what, though? He's probably trying to get that physicist tail right now. Like, he's trying to get he's trying to get laid here. That's what's going on, right? He's trying to get some of that physicist science trill.
Yeah?
Yeah, that's what's going on here.
I got a great one for you. Yeah. Curious that we spend more time congratulating people who have succeeded than encouraging people who have not.
Oh, stupid. Shut up. Shut up. We need to stop encouraging people. All right, that's the problem. That's what I was getting at the root cause of the slackers growing up, and I embedded in your kids. You stop rewarding people who don't deserve rewards. Stop giving trophies to kids for trying.
You don't think we should, like Neil deGrasse Tyson thinks? You don't think we should encourage people who haven't tried?
Who haven't tried?
Yeah.
Sure, but if they try and fail, don't pat them on the back. Say try again, but don't, but people who win, they put a lot of effort into it. What's the reward?
No shit.
Yeah. What's the reward at the end of the tunnel if you win and nobody comes and congratulates you? Why would you even want to win, dickhead?
Neil deGrasse Tyson, just an FYI. there are two kinds of people in this world. Those who divide everybody into two kinds of people, and those who don't. So you just did it. I mean...
Yeah. I mean, is that
so,
a joke?
So condescending.
Is he being...
So condescending.
Is he being ironic there? Like, what's he doing?
I think that he doesn't understand how people, like, get along. Like, I think he has no conception of human interaction.
Well, to be fair, he may be lacking in that area because he has focused on science for so much of his life.
Yeah.
So I can't fault him completely on that. There are lots of people like that.
Okay, this is, I think this is the last one we'll do. One of the biggest problems with the world today is that we have large groups of people who will accept whatever they hear on the grapevine just because it suits their worldview.
Yeah, well...
I mean, this is a scientist.
I agree with that, though.
But this is what we're looking up to. This is what this guy...
He's using his science fame as a platform. So he's using it as some type of celebrity. So people look up to him and look to him for opinions, and he's using his platform to push other social agendas and that sort of thing, which are tangentially related to science, but not really.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, I've learned next to nothing scientific from Neil deGrasse Tyson, except he did delist Pluto as a planet. He's responsible for doing that when he was...
Fuck that! Pluto is a planet! We grew up with Pluto. It's been with us for the long haul. It's a planet. It's more fun to have 9 planets.
Sure, it's more fun to have 50. What? If each of the hominid, what are the, what's the word?
Names.
No, what's the word where every letter stands for something? Homonym?
No, homonym is something that's
Acronym.
No.
Oh, yeah, of course it is.
But acronyms have to be pronounced as words.
Yeah. Anyway, whatever. Homophone? No.
Homophone is something that sounds exactly the same.
So, yeah, of course, it'd be more fun with 50 planets, but who cares? Like, that's not important. Pluto isn't a planet, and I'm glad it's gone. Fuck Pluto.
Just an FYI, if scientists invented the legal system, eyewitness testimony would be inadmissible evidence.
Okay, he is definitely saying that. Which, by the way, a lot of scientists disagree with. A lot of scientists dismiss philosophy. They don't think it has a place in them. Which it does.
I'm sorry, but you said you're saying a lot of scientists dismiss philosophy?
A lot of scientists dismiss philosophy because they don't think it has a place in science, which is absolutely... You just start with a philosophy of ethics, and then about experimentation with chimeras and things like that. Of course, you have to ask these ethical questions. So they're very derisive of philosophy. Yeah, here, Tyson might be in favor of it, though. He's also said a couple smart things, just to be devil's advocate here. So a lot of people assume, he's kind of like this atheist superhero, but a lot of people assume he champions their cause as an atheist, but he's not. He's come out openly, like people ask him if he's an atheist, he says he doesn't even understand why that word exists. Why does the word atheism
Here's another
exist?
smug, condescending comment. Go ahead. So somebody said something about atheism, and he said, atheism, I don't even know why that word exists. Go ahead. What's the rest of the
Hold on. I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why, because it actually makes a lot of sense. He says, why do they have to have a word for something, or a group of people who don't do something, right? There's no word for people who don't play tennis. There's no word for people who don't bowl. There's no word for people who don't own yachts. But there's a word for people who don't believe in any god, and it's atheist for some reason.
Yeah, but there's a word for people who don't appreciate art, Philistines. There's a word for people who don't live in luxury, ascetics. There's a word. There's a word for it
that's
because.
Not specific.
What do you mean? That's not specific?
Aesthetic is not.
Aesthetic.
Yeah, it's not specific to people who don't live in luxury. It's also people who live in denial of pleasures, any kind of pleasure.
So people who live in denial of God are called atheists. You fucking jackass! Like every argument he has for things is so condescending and smug. I can't fucking take it.
Yeah, I don't know. I think
he's like the Pied Piper to me. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I think the reason he does that is, or the reason he said that is because by default, when you're born, you're born not believing something, and then at some point in your life, you choose to.
But what if that's not a scientific thing? Like, what if it's ingrained in, like, the human evolution? Like, love is absolutely part of the genetic code. What if believing in some kind of religious, like, superhero is part of it? No, I'm just saying, like, it's not scientific to say that. It's not crazy what I just said.
Well, there's no evidence that people are born believing in some kind of deity. There has
There
to
is
be.
evidence because all cultures across the globe evolved and grew up creating their own deities that are very similar.
Right.
That's plenty of evidence to me.
Right, but if you have a baby born in a room someplace and you don't expose him or her to any kind of religion, the baby's not going to.
They will make up a religion.
Maybe, maybe not. It
Okay.
may be, you know.
Well,
but
that's
okay.
my response.
Okay, well that's fine. That's a fine response, and you're allowed to be wrong. So.
What's your problem?
My
You got
article,
one more, right?
I do, but I just want to say this. On my article a long time ago, I wrote about I fucking love science. I actually bitched about Neil deGrasse Tyson too, because they worship him like some kind of, I don't know, internet Jesus. Like that's what he's become. He's like this internet Jesus, and it's gotten to the point where he doesn't even have to do or say anything. People just love him by default. They don't even know what he's done. I was talking to someone a while back who said, wouldn't you be excited to meet him? I have met him. It's not a big deal. It's not this life-changing thing. He's not this. What has he discovered? What has he done? What is this guy like? Great. He's just
He's been on TV.
He's a celebrity scientist like Michio Kaku, and yeah, sure, he has some interesting papers and he's done some interesting things, but he's not on the level of Einstein or Richard Feynman or any of these great physicists or scientists from the past.
He makes people feel smart by teaching them about 5th grade science.
Yeah, he's the internet Jesus.
Jesus had a big resurrection.
All right, what's your last problem?
So my last problem is fries.
Say that again, please.
Fries, French fries.
French fries.
French fries.
Fries.
Fried
Okay.
potatoes.
All right.
All right, can we talk about what a waste? We talk about what a waste of time French fries are. Like, does anyone ever need to eat another fry ever again? Huh? Aren't you guys sick of fries already? French fries, French fries, French fries. What are you getting? Hamburger and fries. What are you getting? Steak and fries. Steak frites. Same fucking bullshit. French pronunciation. What are you getting? Oh, and then they try to
They're delicious.
They try to say, no, they're boring. It's oil and potatoes. Oil and potatoes.
And they taste great.
No.
Well, you're saying the same. You're saying like I'm supposed to understand what you're saying, but a French fry tastes amazing.
Like, there's every single fry, more or less, tastes the same. It's just salt, oil, and potato. That's it. Sometimes you can add some crazy Cajun seasoning to it, but other than that, it's the same fucking bullshit all the time. And you know, the average person in America eats around 29 pounds of French fries every year. 29 pounds of that bullshit. And so it's been implicated in an increase in type 2 diabetes, all these French fries. And you know what the biggest bullshit is about French fries? People who put them on sandwiches. Okay?
Also delicious.
It's stupid. It's stupid. It's stupid. There's a place
Are you saying that French fries
Hold
are
on.
not delicious?
No, there's a waste of time. I went to Primanti Brothers in Pittsburgh. There's this place called Primanti Brothers, and they're famous. Well, their saying is actually almost famous, which is funny because it's true. But they're famous for making sandwiches with French fries. They said, we'll put French fries on just about any sandwich.
Cool.
First of all, why just about? You can put French fries on any sandwich, period.
How about a knuckle sandwich?
I'll put French fries on it. Yeah, and then you can punch me anywhere but my mouth because I don't want to eat those bullshit fries. So, Primanti Brothers puts French fries on their sandwiches. Big fucking deal. I can put French fries on my sandwiches. All right? You don't need to say me the
You
step.
can put everything on a sandwich. What do you mean you can put French fries on a sandwich?
Yeah, but if I get a side of fries, I know if I want to, I can take a scoop of them and put them right on my burger. That I don't need some fucking cook to do that. I can do that if I want to. It's like adding ketchup to my sandwich. I can do that. I can do these things. These are condiments.
Yeah, but they know what the correct ratio is.
No, they don't. It's bullshit. There's no correct ratio. It's all made up.
Yeah, it's a correct ratio. It's like, I'm going to end up with a sandwich that you made that's got like a stack of fries that's 8 inches high. It's just too many fries.
Well, don't be a fucking idiot. You're not going to put entire potatoes worth of French fries on a sandwich. If you don't know to not do that, or maybe you want to. I don't know. You know what? Experiment. Do it once. Go crazy. Do it twice.
Okay.
Who cares about French fries? They're so boring. Everyone loves French fries.
Are you saying yes or no? French fries are delicious.
1 or 2 are fine. And after that,
2 fries in a meal?
I tasted it. I get it. It's oil. You know what's a good test of food? Yeah, you know what?
1 or 2 fries?
And they're never good the next day. Never. Cold French fries are the saddest thing. I wouldn't even bring cold French fries. Like, I'd rather go to a funeral than eat cold French fries.
Yeah, nobody wants to eat cold French fries.
Yeah. I'd rather mourn somebody's passing than eat cold French fries. It's so sad. It's the saddest food ever.
So
it's sad.
Do you think they should be warmer longer?
I guess. Will that help? I
don't know. They're perfect to me as they are.
They're fine. You know, take them or leave them. If someone gave me french fries, I'd eat some. And, you know, if it had an interesting sausage with it, and that's what tastes good, is the sauce. It's not the oil. The oil is bullshit. And they have waffle fries.
Oh, bullshit. You said that before. You mean the oil is bullshit.
Because the oil doesn't have flavor. Oil mutes flavor. If you ever go to a Chinese restaurant, they have that little bottle of chili pepper on the table with oil. Or chili, right? The oil is there because it helps mute the heat. It mutes flavor. That's what oil does. That's what butter does. So I don't want oil, more oil in my food.
What are you talking about oil with fries though? Are you talking about the oil that they use to cook the fries?
Yeah.
That's bullshit? Yeah. How else are they gonna cook them?
Well, I don't know. Maybe
They're called fries. You fry them in oil. What do you want them to fry them in?
I guess I don't want them.
Otherwise, there's grilled potato sauce.
Exactly, and it's the same thing. It's all bullshit, man. It's like, okay, you know, maybe I just want potato sauce.
You're getting very amped up, and I'm trying to understand what the fuck you're talking about with French fries being a fry. French fries are delicious. Everyone knows that French fries are delicious. And
Fine, for a couple. After that, you get it. You taste it every fry.
no, people can eat French fries by the wheelbarrow.
Oh, I know. I've seen them. They look like wheelbarrows.
How can you not? Like, what's going on in your mouth and in your mind that lets you eat one or two French fries?
Okay, listen to this. Because it's boring. I've tasted it. It's like eating plain Lay's chips. They're boring. It's just salt and oil. Salt and oil is not that interesting. It's not an interesting flavor. It's just not. It's salt.
It's so good.
Boring.
So you have this problem with potato chips too?
You know, I used to eat them more when I was a fatty, and then I kind of stopped because I stopped eating that kind of food, and I lost the taste for it. No, but it doesn't.
Is that what it's about?
No, but I tried all types. You know, I tried baked potatoes, and I tried baked potato chips, and I tried baked fries, and all the same.
You don't like baked potatoes either?
No, baked potatoes are not food. I will not.
I mean,
But absolutely not. In elementary school, in junior high, and high school, anytime I went to school and for lunch they had baked potato bar, I said, fuck that, I'm gonna starve today. Yeah, I didn't eat on those
This
days.
is the goofiest shit I have ever heard. You don't think that baked potatoes are delicious?
No, baked potatoes are bullshit for bullshit people.
Okay, what are you gonna read?
So I have some stats for you. I got a stat for you. Since 1970, the use of processed potatoes has surpassed fresh use in the United States. This is from the USDA.gov website. So, spurred by the innovation of frozen French fried. In the 1950s, the increasing popularity of fast food chains, processed potatoes composed 64% of total U.S. potatoes during the 2000s, compared to 35% in 1960. So, here's something that's kind of interesting. In 1960, the obesity rate increased from 10% in 1960 to 35% today. Okay? So it's almost directly correlated to the increase of French fries that we eat.
Yeah, but you know what? This is one of those rare instances where I actually know a stat, like a
Okay.
real deal stat. So, because I used to think that too, that it was like the abundance of really fatty foods and calories that was making people fat.
Yeah.
But this dude who was like some kind of trainer, he seemed like he knew what he was talking about. He said that back in the day, people had to walk around so much that and do stuff physically, like even to get up and change the channel on the television.
Right.
That the average woman would eat 3,500 calories a day and be at a normal weight.
That's cool.
But that's what is that? What do they say women should eat? 2,000, like 1,500 to 2,000. That's so many more calories than we eat today that it's got nothing to do with the food or fries. It's just all about how people can sit there and click and pump their nose and everything.
How they say the joke and walk in with the thing.
Yeah, no, I hate doing it, but I just happen to know that stat. You guys said it, and I don't know why I remembered it. I think it had to do with fat chips. That's why I remembered it.
And I know I'm just down with brain, those problems. You dickheads love your French fries and your dogs. Fucking idiot. But I don't care. French fries are boring food, and you love them, you're an idiot. You like bland food.
They're not bland, they're good.
They're bland.
You can dip
You're
them
not
in
fat.
delicious sauces.
You know what, Dick? I believe in fat people. And fat people know good food. Not obese, but like fat people. No, I used to be a fat guy, and I have a friend who's a fat guy. He knows his food. He doesn't like food. Or coleslaw. Coleslaw is also bullshit food.
I gotta text that guy right after the show to see if he hates that guy too. You know what I'm talking about? Because he eats weird, I do notice that he eats weird stuff, but he doesn't like them. Like he won't eat chips. Because he's everything is frozen out. Yeah, boring. What do you eat chips for?
And so here's the thing. I'll eat fries. Don't get me wrong. If somebody gives me fries, I'm gonna eat. They're on my plate because I'm not a little fish. But I never had a fries. Every day for lunch in high school, I had fries. Fries and a burger. Fries and a burger. You put on the fucking side. Why don't you deep fry something else first? So Japanese have it right. This is like putting tempura on it. You like fatty fried food? Tempura that shit. Tempura is great.
Yeah, but they're not as fun to eat like French fries.
What are you doing? You get peas and cauliflower and potatoes and
confusing. French fries you can make like clams out of them, and you take like bites and stuff with them. And you say two things, you call it a thing.
I don't know. It's about the full way. Like they're satisfying to eat. Full of fried carrots. Have you ever had a fried carrot?
Nah, see, they're too chewy. French fries are so nice and
Or if it gets all mealy in your mouth, like it's all mash in your mouth.
no, it gets delicious in your mouth like a potato. Like a delicious fried potato.
Potatoes are boring. Oil is boring. Salt is boring. These are all boring foods for boring people.
Well, you stumped me.
All right. Well, we're wrapping this up. So again, what's your two problems?
And two problems, biggest problem movies are know-it-all massages. If massages is too fancy, should I say know-it-all massages?
I don't think massages is the right word.
I think massages. I don't want to come off like sounding like a fancy.
I sound like Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Yeah, and Neil deGrasse Tyson.
My problems are slacktivists and fries. And don't forget to vote on thebiggestproblemintheuniverse.com, and we'll do your problems next week as well.
And check it out on iTunes. Give us 5 stars.
Yeah, download, subscribe, everything. Thanks, everybody. Welcome to the biggest problem in the universe. I'm Maddox, with me is Dick Masterson.
Hey, buddy.
So, we have some exciting news. We're already at 225,000 downloads.
Yes.
At just over 2 months old. This is phenomenal for a new podcast.
You're amazing.
We.
Yeah, we're amazing.
We're
Thank you for
incredible.
listening.
Yeah, so, last week's problems we brought in.
Who won?
The most important questions. Yeah. Number one came in slacktivist, or slacktivist, it's written down, because my internet was out, and Dick was gracious enough to make me note, and I've been doing nothing but giving him shit because of a typo on the note.
Everything's got to be perfect with you.
Yeah. And then number two was Neil deGrasse Tyson, which was very controversial. There was so much backlash in the comments and on Facebook and on the website.
Yeah, you let me know there would be, though. I mean, right?
Yeah.
He's like everybody's hero.
He's internet station beast. So, and then was know-it-all masseuses, and dead last, as I predicted, you fucking idiots, love your French fries. So enjoy, choke on them.
Your French fries are really, really good. I got a lot of feedback on that one.
Yeah.
I don't think you got your point across with French fries. Because I respect you, I think you always have a reason for your problems, but I don't know if you were able to get your deal stick to your French fries out.
Well, they seem like such an arbitrary side dish. In everything that you order at a restaurant, hamburger, steak, anything under fries, it's just arbitrary.
No,
Not fries.
I still have not given you a chance. I want you to think about it and come back.
Well, the
French fries
closest,
take two.
the closest I made a case for French fries was the diabetic connection, which you kind of pointed out, rightly so, I think, that exercise also plays into that. So whether or not it's exercise alone or the increased consumption of French fries that results in higher instances of diabetes, I'm not sure.
Well, if that's Wade, you go ahead and vote it up. You don't vote it in on the website.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, well, I have some exciting news. I'm not doing that this. Speaking of voting in the website, the number one problem of all time is, as of this week, armchair psychologist.
Armchair psychologist.
That means I am the big winner. I am number 1.
Congratulations.
I am William Riker, and you are Wesley Crusher. I am PP, number 1, and you are Poo Poo, number 2.
You thought about that.
Yeah, I had that.
Yeah,
I
of
thought
course.
of
Yeah, yeah. That's not a joke that just comes up off the cuff.
I didn't write it down though.
Yeah,
I kept it so.
Oh, I believe you did.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All
with typos. So speaking of the number 1 problem, I got a comment from Paul Schafel. He says, "What the fuck, Dick? Maddox is telling a story about a guy upgrading his daughter's computer, and Dick goes into the psychoanalysis about, it seems to me that this guy has a techno-compulsion that's not healthy and blah, blah, blah. What the fuck is this armchair psychology hypocritical bullshit? Dick, you didn't even add anything to the discussion. It just seemed like you were trying to preemptively argue against whatever point Maddox was trying to make before you even heard the full story." So an armchair psychologist, number 1 problem in the world. You know what? Dick, I think this actually proves your point, because the
It
fact
was annoying.
Well, it is
Right.
annoying, but also the fact that you became an armchair psychologist, it's a huge problem.
Man, you can't resist it. Like I felt like a prick after doing it.
Yeah.
This guy was right. I sounded like a prick, but it's too easy to do. It's a big problem.
Can I just point this out? Dick, so last week we had know-it-all masseuses, know-it-all scientists. Here's my problem this week, know-it-all co-host.
What did I do this week?
Okay, this is not really my problem, but you don't have a kid and you always espouse child rearing techniques. Well, you're an expert.
Look, I think I'm just out here giving my opinion. All right, if you have kids and you agree with it, great. If you don't, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know what to tell you. It just seems to me like if you're trying to raise a kid, going out in the backyard and shooting up their laptop is stupid.
And so what thank you?
I got comments from Kurt Radico. Maddox, you piece of piss. If you ever talk smack about french fries or coleslaw again, you're going to be mourning death at your funeral. you did the right your also. Absolutely love the show, guys. Keep up the great work.
Great.
So mixed messages in there.
Yeah, a piece of piss. So what are you, freezing the piss, you idiot? What are you, putting piss in ice cube trays? You know that's going to spill it, or you're going to get on your hands. So I'm not worried about. Yeah, well, I'm not worried about his threat, because this guy can come over with piss all over his hands like a fucking moron. I got a comment from Megan Penna. It says, when Dick asked for an example of actions Maddox had actually carried out in support of his brand, the first one that came to mind was the time he mailed a box of tampons and a bottle of No More Tears shampoo to Bill O'Reilly from the Fox News show, from the Bill O'Reilly is a Big Brother and Vagina article in 2004. That was so awesome.
That was so vlogging.
Yeah.
There was no low criteria of vlogging. What was your name?
Megan Penna. Yeah.
Did you ever get a response from that?
No. I assumed that they just took it out in the parking lot and blew it up, assuming that there were explosions inside. Yeah. Which is proper course.
Let's see, I got one from Cannon Manley. Oh, that's probably a fake name. God damn it, Dick, how you botched a slam dunk like Neil deGrasse Tyson is beyond me. I'm sorry, Cannon, I'm trying my best. Though those tweets were smug as shit, when facing a powerhouse like Maddox, we need to present clear evidence of hypocrisy and discovery.
Oh, but we could have brought in some clips from the Yeah, I actually don't have a problem with the Jeff himself. It is his zealous bandits that I have a problem with, who can see no wrong and admire him way in excess of
Cal Paduzzi says Maddox knows all about Jan Orts and her discoveries, but apparently not his gender. You were showing off that stuff, and you were trying to say like Jan Ort was responsible for it, like the X-Files or some dumb stuff.
The Ort file, right?
Yeah, but you said it was a chick, and apparently Jan Ort was a guy.
You know, I looked it up, and it is a guy. He is a guy. It's pronounced like Jan Ort, because he's from the Netherlands or something like that. So if you read that name in a physics book, which is where I read it. I read it in a physics book.
I would assume it's a man because it's not a picture.
Bravo, Dick. Excellent. But yeah, when I read that in a physics book, there's no context. There's no reason for me to assume the gender. They're not going to mention the gender of the scientist who discovered whatever. Who gives a shit? That's not relevant in a physics book. I read it in physics book in my whole life. I thought, oh yeah, it's probably some chick who discovered it.
I'll tell you why you know it's not a chick, because there's not 6 chapters dedicated to it. If there was a chick who discovered that, it would be like, oh, and then the greatest discovery in science came about from this chick.
Yeah, well, we got Madame Curie, so that's not. And let me guess, I pronounced that wrong. It's Madman Curie. It's a dude, too. Idiots. Okay. So I got a comment from one of my illustrators from the Alphabet of Manliness, Angelo Villasol. I'm still friends with I talk on a regular basis with most of my illustrators in my books. He noticed an interesting thing about your voice gift. You have comparisons to PJ from Goose Troop. One of my friends sent that in. He also said that you sound like Raphael from the original 1987 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Oh yeah, the cool one.
Well, no.
He was cool but rude.
No, that's
It's
that's true. Yeah, he is.
asshole.
Yeah, he's cool but rude. You're right. And then
He's tough, but rude.
No, he's cool but rude.
Are you sure?
Is it?
I think it's tough.
Oh no.
Raphael is tough, but
I
rude.
don't know.
and Michelangelo is the party dude.
Yeah. Or was it crude?
It doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. However, Rob Paulson is the guy who voices all the names. So I looked it up just to double check. Here's some clips from Raphael from Rob Paulson voicing these clips from the original. Listen how much this sounds like this.
Cowabunga! Shredder, you tin-faced geek! Get back here and taste bone through the steel! You picked a heck of a time to become a philosopher. Does the phrase, go suck a lemon, hold any meaning for you?
That's how I said.
Not my...
Yeah.
Does the phrase "go suck a lemon" have any meaning for you? Does it sound like that?
It sounds like I just played the clip twice. Listen to this.
Somebody toss me around! They're not paying me enough to take this kind of abuse.
And that actually even sounds like it could come from the show. Just the whining. Listen to more whining. Listen.
Man, Leonardo, you are such a downer. Can't you hear? It says beep, beep, beep. It's really comforting knowing that you figured that out.
All right, I got a stupid sounding voice. Enough! Jesus!
Or $1 million voice, either way.
Yeah. It's real erotic. You're like dirty talking. It's good.
Just put them under the table for me. They're trash probably, but some of them maybe I can save.
You want to get into the problem?
Thank you.
What's your number?
You want to go first? Yeah. Alright. This one comes straight from the comments. So L Dick. So I'm curious what is up with the lack of swearing. You, meaning me, had a whole chapter in your book about how swearing is manly, which it is. It's not like this is on TV or any FCC regulated medium, so I don't understand how this all. So my first problem, believe it or not, is too much swearing.
Oh, you fucking pussy.
Yeah. I know I'm gonna get eaten alive for it. Like, I know I'm gonna get downvoted to hell. But it would be disingenuous for me to come in here and say that the problem is not enough swearing. Because I really think it is too much swearing. Too much? And I wanted to address it, because a bunch of people brought it up in the comments, like, why don't you swear, why don't you swear more, why don't you swear more? Yeah.
You have an R-rated character doing a PG-13 show. What the hell is up with that, dude?
I think I understand, actually.
Fine. Great.
Well, so here's my thinking on it.
Yeah.
And I went to, I did some research on it, and I ended up at the Pest Control Academy, trying to find reasons.
Oh, yeah, of course, the CCA, yeah.
Yeah, but it's pestcontrol.com. So I wanted to get some, reasons for why there's too much swearing, right?
And it's a .com, not a .org, of course, because
Or .edu. I don't know, those are probably too expensive, but you gotta go to the site, dude. This guy has, this book, it's just, dopey. It's exactly, the guy looks exactly what you think he would look like, man. And his book says, pest control and all that, controlling companies. But but I actually agreed with part of it, and I bring it up just like in these parts. The reason I don't do it on the show all the time is because it doesn't communicate clearly. This is from Pest Control. And it neglects more meaningful words.
What's more meaningful than the word fuck?
I don't know. Anything. If you stop yourself from using the F word or the S or the shit word or any of these other words, I think you're going to think of something funnier to say.
Okay, Dick, I hate to actually give any credence to your bullshit-ass conversation because I totally disagree with it. However, I will say this is, I'm pulling the curtains back a little bit and telling, I don't even know if my fans know this about me, since I've never really mentioned it in interviews or anything like that, but for the first, I would say, 10 to 15 years of my website, I never used the F word at all in any of my writing.
Why?
It was a conscious choice, specifically for the reason you mentioned, because I was trying to find a more creative way to express what I was expressing. However, I finally gave in when I was working on a comic one time, on my article, things that are wrong about movie signs or whatever. And there was this line where I just wanted to say, fuck me in the Ozarks. And I just couldn't think of any other way to say that had that same impact. And I finally just wrote it down as it is. I really pushed myself to try a creative workaround, and I couldn't find it.
Yeah. But I think that's exactly what I'm saying. Like you did have to push yourself, and it wasn't just fuck me. It was fuck me in the Ozarks, which was much funnier.
Yeah.
Right. And don't get me wrong, I love swearing. Like I swear constantly, all day. When we're not. You don't think I do?
No, not enough. You use your crutches of a-hole, ass, effing.
I think that's funnier sometimes, though.
Sometimes
When I don't know, I get like I feel like a masterpiece queen swearing sometimes. Like I've been doing it for so long and I love it so much, but sometimes I like to, like Picasso. I'm not the Picasso of swearing at it. Like he was an amazing painter. Like as a kid, right? Like he could reproduce any still life or any any actual painting, like to a masterful degree shit. But then as he developed, he would start that weird cubist shit. Yeah. Right? So that's how I feel about my swearing. Like I like to not okay, yeah, I could do the tapestry swearing, but then I could throw in an S word or F you, and now it makes you say the word in your head, and that's funnier sometimes.
it almost never is.
Or you go like, oh fudge. Yeah, see, because people are thinking you're gonna say fuck. No, because
you look like such a finicky bitch right now with your arms up in the air, which I wish we were recording.
Oh, that's why.
Yeah, because you're a finicky little bitch. You're like, oh, fudge, fiddlesticks. It's funny in certain contexts, but almost never funnier than active swear words. And it depends, however, if you use swear words too much, I agree, it loses its impact and loses its meaning.
But, yeah, but that wasn't at pestcontrol.com. If I brought in a bunch more reasons like that, and they lose their impact and wasn't on their list.
That's because they're such pussies that they never stop. Yeah, so back to your bullshit analogy of Picasso. So let's look at this analogy for a second. When you're a kid, you're a master orator, right? You mastered speaking just like Picasso mastered painting. And then as an adult...
No, not speaking, just swearing.
Oh, you mastered swearing.
Swearing. Oh, yeah, man. When I was a kid... Fuck, like I could fuck with the best of them.
No, but that's not mastery. That's misuse. That's what that is. So Picasso, when he was a kid, if he was a good painter, that means he mastered the use of color and palette and not using too many colors. The number one mistake most kids make, and trust me, this is
over swearing.
No,
no,
no, kids never swear. It's not enough. But when they're drawing or painting, they use a palette of all the colors rather than restricting it to like five. The five are the most used colors they're using in whatever trying to depict.
Okay.
So in your example, you used swearing too much as a kid. I'm
not saying I did that. I'm saying I used it just the right amount, all the time.
Yeah. And now that you're a big grown. Here's my problem with the censored swearing, effing, S-ing, a-hole. It's not saving anyone anything. Because when you say a-hole, I'm thinking asshole in my mind. And when you say effing, I'm thinking fucking. But I'm also thinking you're a pussy. So it's distracting me from your message because I'm thinking what a big vagina you are.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, maybe that was just a... So you disagree with me?
Oh, yeah. I absolutely. I think swearing is great. Not all the time. Use it like pepper. Well, don't use it like I use pepper. I use way too much pepper. But use it like a spice or an herb in the kitchen. Right? You don't want to put too much basil in your spaghetti.
I don't know, man. So I learned to swear from my uncle. Like I first fell in love with swearing when I was like probably 8 or 9. And I remember meeting my uncle Al, and hanging out with him. He looked like a tough version of Tony Clifton. You know who Tony Clifton is?
Oh, from The Man Over the Moon.
He's Andy Kaufman's alter ego.
Yeah.
He's a very crass alter ego lounge lizard guy, except this guy was like a burly, tough dude with those 70s dark glasses, like in a big bushy 70s mustache.
Cool.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was cool. Especially like in the 80s. It was like, man, you already look like a throwback. Anyway, he would get pissed off, and he would start gearing up to swear like Donald Duck. blowing. Like, he would see the steam start shooting out of his ears, and every time he would put his finger up to his mouth, like he was biting on it. I don't know why he would do this. I think it was to like block his lips. You couldn't read his lips somehow, or like muffle the swearing. But oh my god, he would get pissed off, and he would just let loose. And I thought it was the awesomest thing in the world. I remember seeing it as a kid, going like, man, I'm gonna do that someday. I gotta figure that out. I gotta figure that guy out.
But he didn't say F, did he, Dick?
No, but that's what I'm saying. I'm saying I love swearing. Just in this case, try not to do it all the time.
Why?
Think of something funnier to say.
Okay, but usually instead of something funnier, you end up saying the same swear word, just censored, like effing.
Well, I guess I'm fucking up then. I don't know what to tell you.
There you go. You are fucking up. Oh, that felt so satisfying to hear. Fuck is such a versatile word too. It can be used as a noun, as a verb, as an adjective, right? As a pronoun.
Yeah.
It can be used in so many different ways. I think George Carlin had that piece about.
It's like
the fuck word. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I've got it in that email.
Yeah.
Look, I'm just sick of getting called a pussy in the comments for not swearing enough.
Swear.
There's too much swearing.
No.
Not gonna do it.
It's
perfect the way it is.
No, man. So you don't want to swear. You want to make your segment of the show. Because here's the thing: we're recording. This is a really professional operation, believe it or not. We're recording our tracks on 3 different tracks, and then Sean, our audio engineer, mixes them, and it comes out sounding perfectly. So maybe at some point in the future, we can release just a dick track, which is just your censored PG-13 show, and we could just have that just the kids, where you're talking to an imaginary host, and then every few seconds you interrupt with some angry bloviating and say F it. I'm getting the death stare right now from Dick.
Funny. No, come on, keep going. What else?
Oh, so glad there's a table between us right now. So anyway, I think that it is a problem that you don't swear enough. So I guess.
Oh, you know what? I heard something interesting this week. This girl said that the reason that the F word is banned is because it combines sex and violence.
How's it combining sex and violence?
Because that's the word. It means when you fuck, the word means to violently have sex with someone. What do you mean, how does it combine sex and violence?
You don't have to have violent sex.
It kind of implies that.
No, there's all sorts of you can. What about? What
do you mean it's not violent?
Well,
so if a girl at a bar was like, hey, why don't you just go upstairs and we'll light some candles and I'll run some nice jazz music and you can fuck the shit out of me.
No. What, Sean? What?
I'm sure someone will double check me on this, but I think the word I've heard it comes from a German word which translates to strike or to knock. That's the origin of fuck.
Oh, okay,
so
you're
pretty much the same.
You're striking or knocking that coon.
Yeah.
Well, okay, I guess that makes sense. But you can also have all sorts of different. Like, what about lesbians? They call it fucking when lesbians aren't. They're not necessarily striking. They're not always scissoring. I know that for they don't scissor.
What else do they do?
I don't know. What could you possibly do?
I don't know, but it was interesting because I never heard like a good reason of why that would be bad. That makes sense.
No, but it's not necessarily violent. Like that sounds like a feminist theory type thing where they bring in.
I've never not meant it in a violent way.
Gross. What do you mean violent? It's not violent. Stop saying violent. When I think violent, I think things falling apart and bleeding. Is that how you're having sex, Dick?
No, sometimes.
Gross. The poor mangled women, or whatever. No judgments. I don't know, man. That's not how you.
That doesn't make any sense to you? I mean, you don't give any credence to that? I thought it was interesting.
Yeah, but that's not something people internalize in their head. It's like feminists who have a problem with the word men being in the word women. Because they say, oh, well, that it makes women a subset of men because the word men is in there. But people aren't actively, critically thinking about that when they read the word women. Or when they say, like, for example, the word hysteria, the etymology of the word hysteria means somebody who is hysterical, someone who has, some crazy psychological malady that they're not able. And it used to be women who I think were on their period or something way back in the day, and they were called hysterics. So they say,
true.
Yeah, but today, if you read that word hysterical, right, you're not going to make that association because you don't even fucking know it exists.
I was just going to say, I think of a woman, like, not on her period, right before.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's when they get nuts.
Right, but the majority of people don't make that association because they don't even know the etymology
No,
of that
man,
word.
I think you're wrong in the F word. Like, I think they do, like, it is, like, as soon as she said it, I was like, wow, I guess it kind of is a violent way. It's like a violence and sex together.
What about just squeegeeing? That's not violent.
No, that's like squishy.
No.
Fine.
You know what squeegeeing is?
No.
It's titty fucking. That's not violent.
Is this like an Urban Dictionary thing? That maybe I should bring that problem in.
What,
All these
Urban-
weird sex terms for things.
Face sitting. That's not violent.
Yeah, but this is all coming from a guy who uses the C word like it's nothing. Like, you use the C word way too much.
Oh no, I don't. I rarely use the C word.
That's too much.
Oh, wait. Are we talking about cock or cunt?
We're talking about the latter.
Dick Masterson, creator of MEnAreBetterThanWomen.com.
I've used it like twice. I've used it twice on that site.
Most women I know use that word like it's fucking water. They just say it like cunt. It's like nothing. And it doesn't mean anything. It's, again, that's only offensive in America. Most other cultures don't think it's offensive. We're perverting it into this thing and giving it power. You know what? Why don't you guys, everybody listening right now, go to the list of big problems and vote up other N-words. Because here we go again. These are more other N-words.
I just think it makes people uncomfortable. You're dropping that thing like in mixed company, and it's like, oh boy, all right. Did we all just hear that? Cool.
All right. You know.
At least say it, if you're going to use the C word, at least say a British accent when you're doing it.
How do you say it in a British accent?
I don't know. Yeah.
No, that's silly. I'm not going to do it. There's nothing more offensive than ideas. Words aren't offensive. Okay? If you give power to a word, with the exception of the N-word, because it's so damn ingrained in our society, we can't escape it. But if you give power to
I think
words,
you're kind of cherry picking there.
I am.
The N-word's
I
bad,
am.
but the
Because
other
there's
words
no
aren't bad?
other word. There's no other word in our society that has the power of the N-word. It just doesn't. There just
Well,
isn't.
wait a minute.
There just isn't.
For who, though?
You can't say it to anybody. Like black people can say it to other black people, but you can't say that to
Why?
anybody.
Why is that? This is a whole other topic. But
Okay.
by the way, I don't think all black people are on board with that.
They're not.
Yeah.
Right. No,
What do you
they're
tell
not.
them?
Well, I actually agree with them. Look, if you want to take the power away from words, then stop giving them so much power. Stop acting like it's a big fucking deal. It's not. They're just words. Ideas are way more offensive than words. I can go out on TV, if I say the word fuck, great. Everyone older than 6 years old is going to say no big fucking deal. When the planes hit the World Trade Center, the first thing out of everyone's mouth during the hit, on the videos, during the recordings, was holy shit.
Yeah.
They weren't thinking about offending people. They didn't give a shit. That just came out of their minds. They were saying, holy shit, holy fuck, look what just happened. What's important there isn't the words, it's the context, it's the ideas. So if you go out on TV and you make a racist statement, say, I don't know, say, just pick a race, say, all Chinese people are lazy. If you go out there and you make that statement,
they're not. When have they ever been called lazy?
Exactly.
Chinese people.
I specifically chose Chinese because that's not a stereotype that applies to them. But if you came out and you said that statement about a specific race, that is infinitely more offensive than cunt or fuck. You can go out on TV and say cunt or fuck all day and night, not be offensive, as offensive as you would be as if you said an idea that actually rubs people the wrong way. Ideas are infinitely more powerful than words.
Well, all I'm saying is that's why I don't swear as much. Gotta keep things funny.
Okay.
See what else I can think of.
There you go.
All right.
Let's move on. Let's move on to a real problem.
Too much swearing. You think that's going to get a lot of votes?
Yeah, a lot
Somehow
of
I don't think so.
It is going to get a lot of votes, a lot of down votes. So here's my first problem this week. Anti-cyclists. Okay? These are all the dickheads. Oh, here we go. Dick's one of them. These are all the dickheads who have such a fucking bone up their ass about cyclists. And you'll hear them all the time. They're drivers who say, oh, can you believe this cyclist? He acts like he owns the road. First of all, cyclists aren't owning the road. They're just part of traffic. And if you can't swerve your steering wheel 3 degrees to the left and go around somebody who has the physical footprint of a human walking, then turn in your fucking license. Okay? And every time you see a cyclist riding on the street, you should get out of your car, pull over, pull their pants down, kiss their asshole. Because everywhere you go, every time you find a parking spot, there's one more parking spot free because of a cyclist.
One less car.
One less car.
Yeah.
Gas prices are cheaper because of cyclists. And I don't do it for the environment. I cycle all the time, but I don't do it for the environment. And
You
I
do it for the chicks, right?
Oh yeah, it's It's been a real winner on dates, let me tell you, when I go out to my bike to ride back home. But no, it's faster. You get some exercise. You get off your fat ass, and that's about it. That's the only two reasons I say.
Okay, let me ask you this, because I hate cyclists.
Okay.
I hate everything about them. It's okay if they're on the road. I'm not like one of those guys where I'm just pissed off to see a bicycle guy there. But I do hate them. Let me ask you this: do you walk your bicycle across the crosswalk?
No.
Because I have yet to see one of you motherfuckers do this.
If I'm in the crosswalk, then yes. But if I'm not, why would I ride my bike through the crosswalk? I'm not on the sidewalks.
No. Okay, you approach a red light with your bicycle, right? Then it turns green or whatever, and you're supposed to walk your bike across.
No, Dick, you're not supposed to walk your bike across unless you're walking it on the sidewalk. You're not supposed to ride on the sidewalk. It's illegal to ride on the sidewalk.
I swear you're supposed to walk your bike across crosswalks. Not when you're in traffic, but like when you're on the sidewalk or whatever.
Yes, when you're on the sidewalk, which means you're already walking your bike. So that's a false problem.
Because I see them do this all the time, and I almost hit them every single time, but they can't see you coming.
Yeah, well, they're not supposed to be riding through the crosswalk because they're not supposed to be riding on the sidewalk. So that's the problem. Motorists always yell at me and say, hey, get on the sidewalk. Well, guess what, dickhead? It's illegal to ride on the sidewalk. And then when I do occasionally ride on the sidewalk, say if I'm going to a business or something like that, pedestrians yell at me. They're like, hey, man, that's dangerous. Did you ride on the street? First of all, it's not fucking dangerous. How many people do you know who died because of a cyclist hit them? How many pedestrians? None.
Because a bicycle hit them?
Yeah.
No, I think they hit the bicycle guy. No.
Yeah, it's so incredibly rare. However, I have been hit by a car while cycling. What? Yeah, what's on?
No, I was going to say, knowing people who have lived in New York City for a long time, it's almost a rite of passage to be hit by a bike messenger. Bike messengers hit people on sidewalks.
Oh, yeah. I bet everybody hates bicycles in New York.
I don't know if anybody's died, but I know multiple people who have been hit by bike messengers.
Well, actually, there was somebody who died. This is actually recently in the news. This is from the New York Times. A San Francisco cyclist was charged with manslaughter recently because he was riding down a very steep hill and didn't stop when the light turned red and hit a pedestrian walking through the crosswalk. They both tumbled about 20 feet because the guy was going about 35 miles an hour, which is really unusual for a cyclist. But that's exceedingly rare.
I feel like bicycle riders think they own the road, though. Like, I feel like they all got a chip on their shoulder about having their goddamn bicycle. And like, oh, we're just like a car. We're just like a car. You guys should be thanking us. I do feel like they're all like that, though, and that does piss me off.
Yeah, you know, because all these, like, fucking car drivers are such pussies. They say, oh, man, I have to slow down a little bit to go around a cyclist. You know, if only there was some utopia where there were no cyclists on the road, there would be no traffic, huh? Oh, except we already have that. It's called a freeway, and it's always fucking gridlocked because of cars, choking up all the fucking roads. Cyclists aren't the problem, they're the solution, buddy. Your gas is cheaper because of us. You have parking because of us. Everything's better because of us. And you're just sitting there in your stupid car with your Persian racing rims like an idiot.
Yeah, man, that all might be true, but why are you guys so annoying about it? Like, why do you cyclists? It's always about bicycling. Everything is about bicycles. You do those dumb things where, like, 300 bicycle guys show up, and you take up the street, riding up and down, riding all over town.
Yeah.
You're always getting harassed by the cops, right?
But, yeah, cops do harass us.
Why is that?
I don't know, because cops have nothing better to do. They you know what it is? I've even heard a friend of mine who said that a cyclist wouldn't get out of the way when he honked. I'm like, well, of course not. Would a car get out of your way if you honked? No, they're just going to continue driving down their path, you dick. Like, and he goes, well, I have 2,000 tons of metal around me. Who's going to win in a battle? Well, I guess you are, dickhead. If you're going to be a homicidal
I
fuck.
win.
Great. Yeah, you win what? A trip to jail, you moron.
So how can someone who's so into driving fast support bicycles? Like the slowest wheels on earth.
Dick, it is not. I will race anyone. I can get within a mile of anywhere in this city faster on a bike than a car, guaranteed, in heavy traffic.
I gotta call you out on that because we've done this race and I fucking beat you by like 5 minutes, dude.
No, you bullshit.
Remember?
Yes, the coffee shop, and it wasn't 5 minutes. We pulled in at the same time.
And you were sweaty and disgusting, and I was on my phone. I had a nice conversation the whole time. I had already purchased my coffee.
Oh no, that's a lie. First of all, and it was 1.2 miles. I actually calculated.
Yeah.
I can do 1 mile faster than anyone on a car.
I mean, I'll take you up again.
You're on.
With that bet.
Heavy traffic, you're on. I can get there faster on a bike than you can in a car.
Heavy traffic and what else? No roads. What other stipulations do you want to put on there?
We'll go in mountain biking trails.
Why do people with bikes have such chip on their shoulders?
We don't.
On their shoulders?
No,
You want to know that?
Look, some of them do. I'll give you that. Some of them are assholes. Absolutely, 100%. And by the way, I'm not a bike activist. I'm not any kind of activist because those guys annoy the shit out of me. I'm not out there protesting and trying to make a point, but I just want to get where I'm fucking going without some dipshit in a car behind me having a fit because they have to go around 3 degrees. They have to turn their steering wheel 3 degrees to go around a guy who has the physical footprint of a human being.
Yeah. What do you do when you encounter guys with their riders in the road?
I just go around them.
Really? You just totally like chill?
Yeah,
because you don't react at all. You're just like, well, this is just something we have to deal with. Bicycles in the road, no problem at all.
Because you know what, Dick? If you pay attention, next time you're driving, I want everyone listening to do this. Watch a cyclist that you pass by, and then watch what happens when you get to the next red light. They're going to pass you, and then you're going to pass them again. They're going to pass you, and eventually they're going to be way far ahead of you, and you're going to be stuck in traffic because you're an idiot. And they're going to be wherever the fuck they're going quicker than you're going. I use cars as pace cars. Every time I see a U-Haul truck or a big vehicle, whatever, I look at it and I keep that in mind and I see, okay, if I was driving, how fast would I get to my destination?
So let's go over some of the negatives of bicycles since you're going over all the positives.
Right.
Looking lame. That's a pretty big negative.
I don't know, man. I think I look pretty cool.
Hold on, I'm writing these down.
Okay.
Looking lame. Definitely don't look cool.
Definitely your opinion.
Being sweaty and gross.
Sweaty's cool. Chicks dig sweat.
Really? So
Yeah.
you're telling me that every time you've rode your bicycle everywhere, the sweat hasn't been an issue?
Well, I'll tell you one time that it has.
Oh, okay.
I rode my bike to a meeting with, I believe it was Comedy Central. And I
Walk me through the thinking on that.
Well, I was just a mile down the road, but I left late, and I had to cruise really fast. I got there on time, but then I locked up my bike to this handrail, and this fucking like mall cop came up to me. He's like, "Hey, no, you can't park your bike there."
Okay.
I said, "Why not?" Because it's a liability. If somebody's walking up the stairs, they might trip and fall. And I said, "Hey, idiot! If somebody's walking up the stairs and they need to use the handrail..."
Like that guy knows. First of all, like whoever trained him took the time to explain why these rules are enforced.
Yeah, thanks, buddy. Yeah, if somebody's walking up the stairs and they need to use the handrail, they're probably handicapped anyway, and they're not going to get more handicapped. Like, who cares? So, that's
okay, so this is from a bike guy. Fuck the handicap.
Whatever.
Good start.
Sure, whatever. So anyway, I had to race down into the parking garage. I had to park and by the way, they didn't have any bike locks downstairs. It was just a fucking parking garage where executives park their cars.
Yeah.
Where the fuck am I supposed to park my bike?
You're supposed to park it when you were 13, and then you never ride it again. Because it's not something that adults do.
So anyway, dude, I got to my meeting on time.
Where'd you lock up your bike?
Oh, I just rode it back up and parked it on a sign or something. Who cares? So I got to the meeting. However, the reason I was sweaty is because dickhead security cop made me run downstairs and run back upstairs, and I came to the meeting all sweaty, looking like shit, so whatever.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why you don't see my show on Comedy Central, because I'm too sweaty.
Sweaty.
Okay, what are the negatives do you have?
I think almost getting, like, the reason I don't have a motorcycle, I go through motorcycle withdrawal every year about summertime. It'd just be so cool to have a motorcycle and drive around LA.
Right.
But I think I would get hit. Like, I'm pretty sure I would get hit by a car.
So I've actually done the research, and motorcycles are way more dangerous than cycling because you're driving at faster speeds, you have lower reaction time, and you're actually in both lanes of traffic, whereas cyclists tend to stick to the side and on slower side streets and things like that. So that's why cyclists are safer than motorcyclists. In fact, I have some stats from the New York Times. It says 4,834 cyclists and 59,925 pedestrians were killed by motor vehicles in the United States between 1999 and 2009. So in 10 years, the most recent year for which figures are available. Now, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, cyclists killed just 63 pedestrians, or about 6 per year, during that same period.
I'm getting all mixed up with the numbers. What is the amount?
So in 10 years, cyclists killed
Jesus.
just 63 pedestrians.
Okay. Yeah, but no one's concerned about bicycles killing people.
Exactly.
They're
That's my
concerned
point.
about bicycles being annoying.
Oh,
Come
no,
on.
when? What are you gonna do about it, dude? Look, if you just waved a magic wand and all the cyclists were gone, do you think traffic would get better or worse?
I don't care. I just don't want to deal with them. I don't want them buzzing. I don't want to have to try to squeeze around them when they're taking up like more room than they need to be.
Yeah, then you have to, then wherever you get, there's gonna be 10 more cars parked because suddenly cyclists aren't there anymore,
You know,
right?
bicyclists are like pregnant women. Like, it's just like, they make everything about their dumb bicycle. Like, every pregnant woman's like, well, oh yeah, you know, Shakespeare, that reminds me of my baby and how I'm pregnant.
No, that's not at all. First of all, if you have a cyclist who's making everything about cycling, then you have dickhead friends. When I cycle places, I don't make a big fucking song and dance about it. I just get there, do what I'm doing, and then go the fuck home. I don't care if anyone knows how I got there. My form of transportation isn't important.
That's such bullshit. I only have one cyclist friend, and it's you. And it's always, I can get there on my bicycle faster than anyone in their car. You guys are suckers.
Yeah, that's true. You did. Well, here's another interesting stat. The number of trips made by bicycles in the United States more than doubled in the last decade, according to the U.S. Transportation Department and Federal Highway Administration. Meanwhile, the total number of cyclist fatalities has fallen by 21% since 1988.
All these stats don't make you guys less annoying. That's all I'm saying.
Dick, I don't know how, I've made such a cogent, clear argument, and all you're saying is, wow, it's
Because
annoying.
anti-cyclist people don't give a shit about lives you're saving or not saving or whatever. It's just fucking annoying to deal with bicycles in the street.
You know what's fucking annoying? Traffic, and that's you. You're traffic. I'm clogged up, sitting behind some dipshit with Persian racing rims because you're too much of a moron to get in a bicycle and ride around town.
I will not get on a bicycle and ride around town. Thanks for that. Ride on the sidewalk. Just do us all a favor. Take your toy and go on the sidewalk with it.
Yeah, why don't you ride on the sidewalk? Take your bullshit ass car and ride on the sidewalk. Oh wait, that's what you were doing already. So, ring slick dick.
Oh, that's a love blow, man.
You know what, dude? I can't ride on the sidewalk. I can't ride in the streets. I can't ride anywhere, huh? So maybe everyone should just drive everywhere all the time, and traffic would triple. That's what would make you happy. And there's no more parking spots. There's more, and the gas prices would go up because everyone's using gas all the time.
Yeah. You know what? Nothing will make me happy. I'm just explaining to you why you guys are so annoying.
Do you think cyclists are morons?
Morons?
Yeah.
No.
What? How would you describe cyclists? What are they?
They're a pain in the ass.
Pain in the ass.
Yeah.
So you're saying, what Dick is saying here, is he wants more pains in the asses on the road in cars, behind wheels. That's what you want. You want more pain in the ass people in cars.
I don't have a solution for this.
Yeah.
People who hate bicycles don't have a solution.
Maybe it sounds to me like you have a final solution in mind. Okay, fascist. Alright, what's your next problem?
Speaking of fascism, my next problem is the Nuremberg defense. Yeah. So you know what the Nuremberg defense is?
Let's define it for some of our listeners who are morons, because there's a lot of them.
I think it was, when World War II was won,
Yeah.
they lined up all the Nazis.
When America won World War II, let's go on that.
Yeah, they lined up all the Nazis in court in Nuremberg trial. Right. And they said, okay, you guys are guilty of all this horrible stuff. And I said, well, we were told to do that. So it's not really our fault.
So the phrase is, we were just following orders, right? Yeah.
And I guess that worked.
Did it? Were they let off the hook?
I think they got let off of that. Sean, you always know facts, because that's true, right? Everybody basically got away with everything because they said someone's shaking their head no.
I don't think they did.
No, I don't think so either. I don't think that was a good defense.
Oh, really?
No. And
It doesn't sound like a good defense.
Isn't that the premise of the famous psychological experiment? The
Milligram
trial, right? Or the Milligram experiment, where they asked people to give a painful jolt to somebody behind the wall who was acting like they were in pain. And because the doctor who had authority told them to do so, they kept shocking beyond lethal levels because an authority told them to.
Pretty funny experiment.
It's pretty hilarious. But that's essentially a replication of the psychology that went into Nazis saying we were just following orders.
Yeah. Okay, then you're saying it's a big problem.
It is.
So the reason I brought this up is, have you heard that Comcast call where that guy tries to cancel his Comcast service?
Yeah,
It's
there was
kind
that.
of old, but I just got around to listening to it this week.
No, it's still pretty current. There's that guy who called Comcast and he tried to get his cable service canceled.
Yeah.
And he argued with the guy for over 20 minutes.
He
20
recorded the
minutes.
second half of it, and he says he did it for like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
But I finally listened to it this week, and it's like, it's painful to listen to, right? It is frustrating to listen to, but everyone's excuse is this guy was just following orders, like this guy was just doing his job. They're basically giving the Nuremberg defense for this jackass.
Right.
But I listened to the thing, and it's clearly just the guy being an a-hole. Like, if the Nuremberg defense didn't work for the Nazis, it shouldn't work for this guy.
No.
You know what I'm saying? So I brought in, for a first time, I brought in clips to the show to prove I didn't bring in the whole thing, because it's like, if you want to listen to the whole thing, just go into it.
We'll link to it on our website.
Yeah. Play the, hold on, not yet. The first one is, where did I go? Oh yeah, okay, so the first one is this guy throwing out the Nuremberg defense. Go ahead, play number one.
How do you understand where you can't just disconnect that?
Because what I understand is to have a conversation with you about this, keeping your service, about finding out why it is that you're looking to cancel the service.
Okay, false.
Yeah.
That guy's job is not to do what he just said.
It is. Yeah, it's his job to just
To sit on the phone and dick around.
Yeah, to dick around. No, your job is to handle customer service inquiries, dickhead. If someone wants to cancel, you fucking cancel.
Yeah, I mean, I hate Comcast as much as everybody else, but I don't think it was their fault here.
You don't think it's Comcast's fault?
No.
They train these dickheads. And I'll tell you why I do think it's Comcast's fault. Because I used to work in a telemarketing company, and we had lots of clients, inbound and outbound. Outbound was mostly soliciting calls, and inbound was customer service related for different clients like Sprint and Nextel and all these different phone companies. And they taught us when somebody called in to cancel their service to give them a first objection. Now that means we object to their cancellation and try to keep them on board. And then if that didn't work, give them a second objection. And some clients thought that the second objection was too much and we shouldn't do it.
Yeah.
But some of them went to third, fourth, fifth objections, and some of them were taught, don't let the customer cancel no matter what. And that's exactly what this sounds like. Some dickhead told him not to let the customer off the hook.
That doesn't excuse this jerk off from
Right.
doing this. Like
No.
this, so this guy and the people at your company are making a choice to follow these like orders
Right.
that are coming from on high.
Right.
It's still their fault.
No,
They're still the dickhead doing it. It's not the company.
No, it's both. I think it's the company and it's the person that...
Yeah, well, you can't punch a company in the stomach. That's the point I'm making. It's this guy deserves more blame than the whatever, like the atmosphere, the boiler room atmosphere that Comcast is generating.
It's their policies. I'm telling you, Comcast tells their reps on the phone. Comcast is trying to eject from this one, say, no, this is a bad seed, this is one guy. It's not the one guy. If this guy didn't have an incentive to do this, he wouldn't do this.
I don't think that excuses it, though. I really don't, like, I'm not defending, I don't want to seem like I'm defending Comcast, because I hate them too. I think they send that too. But
I mean, it seems that way.
What?
That you're defending Comcast.
Oh yeah, I know. It seems like I am. I actually think they love this because because they get everybody's thinking about them, everybody's talking about them, and all like they can come out like priests and go, oh my God, we're gonna change everything.
Yeah.
This is so bad.
Right.
This is obviously so bad. We're gonna fix everything. They're not gonna do shit for it.
No, of course not.
So they get a bunch of free ads for it.
Yeah.
Go to. Yeah, you kind of already said that. Go to number 3. Okay.
I'm just going to wait until you can confirm that we checked the service, so I'm just going to hang up here.
I'm really sorry to see what's up here. Keep you over here. Thank you very much for being a great part of Comcast. Have a wonderful day.
Okay.
Can you give me a confirmation number for the cancellation of service?
I don't have a confirmation number.
There is no way that that's Comcast policy. That's all I'm saying.
No, that guy's a little bit of snot at the end, but
Yeah, he's an a-hole.
he's an asshole.
Yeah.
An asshole, for
Yeah.
sure. 100% for sure, an asshole. But,
I see what you're doing there.
but, yeah, okay, maybe Comcast's policy is to give the customer a confirmation number, but
the fact that they
And he's so emotional about it. You can hear it in his voice, like how emotionally invested he is in getting this sale. He's just a total prick.
yeah, he's a prick, but he's that way because Comcast incentivized his prickish
See,
behavior.
you're letting him off, and that's why I'm bringing this up as a problem.
No.
Because you are totally letting him off the hook by saying that.
No, they're both guilty. I think you should hang this guy, right?
That's what I was thinking.
Metaphorical or literal, I'm okay with the capital punishment in this case, or destroy Comcast, brick by brick. Just dismantle that whole fucking evil firm. I fucking hate Comcast. Everybody hates Comcast. They're absolutely terrible. And for our international listeners, Comcast is a cable and network provider that has huge monopolies in huge swaths of America, where if you sit out in the suburbs someplace in Utah or New Jersey or wherever, sometimes the only service you have is Comcast. You have to pay whatever fee they want you to pay because they have monopolies, they have contracts, they have lobbyists, and they keep other competitors out of their areas.
Well, they give local politicians kickbacks. That's how they get those monopolies.
Oh, absolutely.
So here's why the Nuremberg defense is the biggest problem in the universe, though.
Yeah.
Because Comcast is going to go away. All right? They're going to get driven out of business by whatever internet, Hulu, or Amazon TV, whatever TV networks are coming along when we don't need cables anymore. But the Nuremberg defense is going to be here forever. People, whatever the next thing is that's going to kill cable, is going to come out and say, like, I was just doing my job by being a total jerk to these people when they're trying to cancel their service.
Well, if we can effectively...
Same reason the bouncer won't let me into a bar when I'm wearing flip-flops.
Yeah.
Like, well, I'm just doing my job.
Doing my job, yeah.
Well, can you just be a person for a second and let me in?
You know, Dick, I'm glad you brought this up. I actually do agree with you. This is a legitimate problem, and you actually brought in research. This is like the first time you've done this, and I'm so happy.
Thanks.
But yeah, this is a great problem. I actually like this a lot. I've been trying
less
to
shit for this next week. Then.
I think so. Yeah, you're. I mean, I'm on board with this. I think that I've been trying to dismantle or reverse engineer the Nuremberg defense.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not sure if this is the right way to do it. I'm still experimenting with it, but sometimes I'll run into a dickhead security guard. Like, I was riding my bike the other night in a parking structure, and who cares? It's fucking 10 o'clock at night, it's empty, there's no one around, and some dickhead happened to be on his walkie-talkie upstairs, just passing me at the wrong time. They go, stop right there, are you looking for your car? And I got tripped up because I wasn't expecting...
I got my bicycle to look for my car, you fucking idiot.
Idiot, yeah. So anyway, I was like, no, I'm just riding. I was like, oh, you can't be up here. I'm like, dude, who cares? And I kept riding. He goes, oh, just stop. I'm like, all right, man, all right. He's like radioing in people, and I'm glad I did because there were cops like right downstairs.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I came up to the guy, and before he could even say it to me, I said it to him. I said, I get it, man. You're just doing your job.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to defuse the situation, but I'm not sure how to get what you want after you defuse the bomb.
Okay, well, what did you want to... Why were you riding your bicycle around a parking structure, I guess? Let's find out what you wanted in this situation.
I was just going for a ride. If you've never ridden, it's fun. You ride all the way up. It's a big spiral. You ride all the way back down. You get to the top. You got a great view. There's a breeze. It's nice.
Is this your workout?
No, I
you
just
ride bicycles up parking structures.
You know, if I'm riding by something that looks interesting, I'm gonna put my bike in it.
Okay, no, I'll give you that because I like climbing parking structures.
Yeah, in your car?
No, when I'm drunk.
Oh, so in your car. Rain slicked in.
Let's talk about something else.
So anyway, so I'm trying to dismantle the Nuremberg defense. I've been able to defuse it. But then to get what you want, I don't know what the next step is.
That happened to me this week. I was at Stout again, my favorite hamburger restaurant.
The burger place, yeah.
And they're open till 4.
Yeah.
Which means their last call goes right up until 2.
Right.
And it was like 1:52. Mm-hmm. I ran in there. I was like, all right, thank God, I can still get a beer.
Good.
So I go to the counter, like, yeah, dude, give me a mausoleum pills, like, stat, right away, give it to me.
Yeah.
And he was, all right, here you go, just so you know, I gotta come and collect this in 6 minutes, or in 5 minutes, whatever he said. I was like, okay, buddy, good luck.
Exactly.
So I was geared up for, like, well, I've never been tossed out of Stout before, but I am not giving this beer up. So I'm, like, fuming, right?
Yeah,
amping up for getting what I want, like you were saying. So he comes back, like, 5 minutes later, and I had already drank the whole beer.
All right. Well,
joke's on me.
I guess you're both losers. Well, I guess you for alcoholism and him for being a Nuremberg defense dickhead.
Okay, so is that your problem? Is that
Yeah, that's the whole
everything?
thing. Like, I also wrote down all these dumb quotes from The Verge, like, surveyed all these Comcast employees.
Yeah.
And all of their interview clips make it sound like they're being trained like Nazis.
They are.
What the fuck, though? Like, you're on the phone talking to somebody, just give them what they want.
Yeah. And don't do shitty things just because some authority
Yes.
told you to do it.
Thank you. Don't do shitty things to people.
Stop being a fucking robot. That's
Unless
why
it's
I
funny.
Okay, unless it's funny. Okay, just real quick, an anecdote. I was at the New York airport, the JFK airport, standing in line for security. And there was a long security line, and I was near the front, and I heard this lady, this wife and her husband, were standing near the front, and the security guard told her to go through the first class lane because it was empty. And no one was coming through, and no one was coming through for all the way down the terminal. You could see it was empty. No one was coming through first class, so the security guard told her, go ahead and go through first class.
Being a cool guy.
Being a cool guy.
Right.
Because his job, he was also breaking the rules, I'm sure, trying to expedite the process. So this lady says, well, it says first class. And he says, I know, ma'am. It's okay. Go ahead and go through first class. And she goes, but my ticket is not first class, it's coach.
All right, that's it, lady. Go to the back of the line.
Right.
That's it.
No, but then it goes on. And then he said, I know, it's fine. Just go to first class. And she goes, are you sure? And he says, yes.
Yeah.
And then she goes, but my ticket is still, it's coach. I'm flying Southwest and it's coach. And the guy's like, just go through first class. And then she's like, well, I don't know if I can, my ticket. And I almost like butt in. I'm like, lady, he just fucking go. Just fucking go. I was going to push this bitch right through the fucking line. Are you insane? Are you that fucking robotic? You're so ingrained to the fucking rules of society, you can't fucking, even when someone's telling you he's the authority, you can't even override the previous authority?
Brush it off.
Jesus.
My dad used to do something similar to that when we were kids and we'd go on a trip.
Yeah.
He'd be like, all right, we're boarding early. You guys have to act like you're under 12. And we'd be like 18. Like, sir, they're not. He goes, yeah, they're fine.
Yeah.
And he'd shove us through.
Just walk through, just do it. Just do what expedites the process, make people's lives easier, stop following authority. Jesus. Alright, I'm all pissed off now.
All right, what's your last problem?
That's a good problem, Jake.
Thanks, man. I really thought about it. I worked hard at it.
Yeah.
Like, I did a bunch of research. I made those dumb clips.
Made the clips, this is broad evidence, this is great problem. My next problem, and now I'm the one with minor quibbles this week, is hyphenated names.
Okay.
Alright? I am so tired of hyphenated names. Okay, first
So
of
a
all...
hyphenated name, I'm just going to say what it is, because I didn't learn this until I was in my 20s.
Uh-huh.
That it's when a woman, like, takes the guy's name and tags it onto her last name when they get married and puts a hyphen in it.
Basically, yeah,
Okay.
basically. Or the guy does that with the woman's name, and they share each other's last
Like
name.
the mayor of LA? Did he just take her name? Villaraigosa? Is that... Yeah. I think his name was like Villar, and hers was like... And he either took her name completely, because it was like more Mexican sounding.
Yeah.
I don't know.
He probably
He
would.
combined two names into one name. There's no hyphen there.
Yeah, but he took her name.
Yeah, via
Yeah.
That's that's name melding. So hyphenated first names.
Yeah, that's not the right thing, Sean. We're talking
No.
about something else. So why don't you keep a lid on it?
No, but it's all really.
Dickhead brought it up.
It's all really. I have a problem with all of it. All of it's a problem. Now, and then now people are hyphenating first names. You know what? Anytime I see a hyphenated first names, it just means that it's the result of two people who shouldn't have gotten married, right?
A hyphenated first name?
Yeah, because they can't make a decision.
Wait, they hyphenate their own first names?
Well, not with their last names, but say for example, there's you know a guy named Ken John or Dwayne Reed or something like that. It's a hyphenated first name.
Okay.
Because you know what that comes from? The mom wanted Dwayne, the dad wanted Reed.
Are you serious? This is a real thing?
Yeah, that's what it is.
Well, I know like Peggy Sue. Like
Yeah.
is that a hyphenated
That's
first
a
name?
hyphenated first name.
So this is actually happening where the mom wants a first name and the dad wants a different first name?
Yeah.
And they hyphenate the
They
first name
hyphenate.
as a compromise?
That's the compromise.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Where is this happening?
Everywhere. I have some of my good friends have hyphenated names, and I love them to death, but it's annoying as shit.
First names?
Yeah. First
That's
names.
goofy.
Yeah. Even my editor for the Alphabet of Manliness.
Yeah,
awesome
Ruby
guy,
Strauss.
Jim Ruby
He's
Strauss.
great.
He's a great dude. I love the guy, but he's got one of these bitch last names. And then and then you have well, I don't even want to say any of these names. They're all coming to my mind. But yeah, Peggy Sue's another one. And
I learned what hyphenated names were because of Ruby Strauss.
Yeah.
Like, what's the deal with the name? Why do they have that fancy hyphenated name?
Yeah, because they're not on board with the cultural norm in America where the wife takes the husband's name when they get married. And fine,
I kind of like the idea of hyphenating the first name though.
Why? That's stupid.
No, because then you get like two really, really strong. Like you could get like Derek the Incredible Hulk. Like, hi, I'm Derek the Incredible Hulk Masterson.
Yeah.
Like that, because obviously the dad wanted Incredible Hulk. You know what I'm saying?
You think
the
the
mom
mom's gonna
wanted
go-
something lame like Derek. Or something.
Were you? I think Dick, you have an interesting story. Were you telling me you have a friend who has a superhero name?
Oh God, yes.
Yeah, with the kids.
You know who it is.
Can you tell the story on the air?
Yeah, I think you would love it. So he snuck in. His kid's name is Eddie.
Yeah.
He managed to sneak that in, and he made, like, as an afterthought, he made the middle name Brock after Venom. Like, Venom, the superhero or supervillain's name is Eddie Brock, so the kid's name is Eddie Brock. Like, and he totally, I know he didn't explain why Brock was, like, sentimental to him.
But wait, wasn't there more to the story that his wife hated comic books? Wasn't that, maybe it was someone else telling me this, but someone was telling me that they have
that sounds like a better story.
I thought
this
was the story. So there's a friend of mine said that his friend loves comic books and his wife hates them. And so when their kid was born, like she doesn't even want comics around the house. She doesn't want the kids reading comics, anything like that.
Why?
She just hates comics. She thinks they're a bad influence and whatever. So yeah, this guy's a big pussy. So he married her. And then he named his first kid Xavier and his second kid Logan. And his wife went along with it, totally fine. And then they were at a friend's house one time, and he said, yeah, this is Xavier and Logan. And then he goes, oh, you mean like the X? And he goes, he snuck that under the radar with his wife. It makes me so happy.
He probably thinks about that while he's banging her.
Oh my God!
I got away with that.
Oh man!
Yeah, you take it.
That'd give me the biggest boner for the rest of my life. I would love it so much getting one over like that. But yeah,
sneaking.